All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the brand story of a travel company called Way Travels. We're going to break down exactly how they manage to do more than just sell tickets, how they build a real emotional connection and a deep sense of trust with their customers.
So right off the bat, what do you see? They don't open with flashy deals or pictures of beaches. Nope. They start right here with this universal idea. The brand connects with us on a totally human level, tapping into those feelings of excitement and freedom that are the whole reason we want to travel in the first place. It's an absolutely brilliant way to hook you in.
And this right here is their first big strategic move. It's all about creating that shared emotional ground. Before they even whisper what they do, they remind you why travel matters to you personally.
And notice how they're doing this. It kind of bypasses your logical brain and goes straight for the heart, you know? By tying their brand to these huge universal feelings, they make themselves relatable in an instant. Right now, we're not even thinking of them as a company. We're just nodding along, dreaming about our next big adventure.
But, every good story needs a little bit of conflict. So the narrative then introduces a problem, a dilemma that, let's be honest, almost all of us have faced. And it's a problem that this brand is about to position itself as the perfect solution for.
And here it is, laid out plain as day. On one side, you've got the dream we were just talking about, that feeling of freedom and excitement. But on the other side is the tough reality of planning a trip. The confusion, the endless information, and that nagging feeling of who can I actually trust? This pivot is so important. It creates a tension that just begs for a solution. So now that they've set the stage with a problem, you'd expect them to jump right into a sales pitch, right? But they don't. Instead, they introduce their core philosophy. This is where they start to show us their character, their purpose, their why.
And see, this isn't some stuffy corporate mission statement. It's an origin story. They're telling us they were literally born from this very human-centered idea. And those words, simple, honest, and memorable, they're the perfect antidote to the problems of confusion and distrust they just showed us.
This is just so clever. They've baked their entire philosophy right into their name. Way stands for waves, air, and, this is the most important part, you. With that one word, they completely shift the focus from flights and hotels to your personal experience. It's all about how the journey feels to you.
Okay, so a great philosophy is one thing, but how does that actually play out in the real world? Well, now the story starts connecting that abstract idea of trust to real, concrete actions.
I really like this part because it shows you, it doesn't just tell you. They take this big fuzzy concept like trust and they make it feel solid, They're basically giving you a checklist for what their promise looks like in real life. Clear info, no fake outs, actual human support, and service you can count on.
And it's only now, after building this entire foundation of emotion, conflict, and philosophy, that they finally show us what they actually sell. But by this point, it's not just a boring list of services, is it? It feels like the practical application of their promise. These are the tools they use to take responsibility for your journey.
So the narrative has been building this whole time, from that initial emotional hook to this solid foundation of trust, and now it's time for the emotional peak, the big ultimate promise that ties it all together.
This line, this is the absolute heart of their whole message. It completely reframes how we measure the value of travel. They're basically telling you that they don't deliver miles or hotel nights. They deliver memories, peace, and smiles. They are selling an emotional outcome, and that is so much more powerful.
And finally, it all lands on this one, simple, powerful statement. Your journey, our responsibility. Wow. This single line just wraps up their entire identity. It's the ultimate promise, the final reassurance that they are the guide who will solve that conflict between the dream of travel and the messy reality of it. So, as we finish breaking this all down, it leaves us with this really thought-provoking question. The entire Way Travel story is built to answer this. In a world full of algorithms and do-it-yourself websites, they're making the case that the real value is in trust, in guidance, and in the simple promise that someone else is taking responsibility for your memories. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it?